We were just talking about oysters, which could also be a brunch item. Very appetizing. I have not had an oyster for a while, so thank you for reminding me that they exist. So, well, this is another episode of Behind the AI, and this is Ivy Michelle. I'm here with Drew Elliott. Drew, introduce yourself to the audience. Name, company, where you from? We kind of already gave it a little bit away by talking about oysters. So, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with I'm going to be eating some oysters for Thanksgiving, and I'm pretty excited. I'm from an area nearby to Richmond, Virginia, which is where I live now and where we've based RoundlyX out of. So about an hour east on the Rappahannock River, it's where you get great oysters. But yeah, that's, I've been in Virginia my whole life. I lived on the West Coast for a little while I was in the Marine Corps, UVA for undergraduate studies, and then got into startups after a career in intelligence and getting an MBA at Georgetown Business.
Amazing. All right. So this is only natural that it's the next question. What's your favorite version of your pitch as we pitch all day, every day? You have to have a favorite version. This could be also something that could be easily explained to an 80-year-old. So I'll let you pick.
Yeah, okay. So, we're really building a global full spectrum digital asset wealth management platform. So that's Bitcoin and other digital assets. And the first way we're kind of building that larger structure is with a tool that allows spare change roundup. So every time you swipe your card and spend on everyday items, the roundup amount goes into your preset allocation of digital asset, Bitcoin or another. And that's how we're going to build out this global full spectrum platform.
Amazing. What made you get into all of this?
So I've actually been very passionate about financial markets since I was a kid. I started very young. I remember I'm 35 now. I remember the first internet wave in the early and mid 90s because I was actively involved. I was buying and selling internet stocks. I couldn't do it on my own. I had an uncle who set me up with a broker, and then eventually I had a discount broker when those first came out online. I was Moneyman13. I don't know where I got that username from. But yeah, Moneyman13 has been in this for a while. And naturally, I got into derivatives, did a lot with finance in college. It kind of blossomed, ironically, while I was in the Marine Corps. I got into metals and currencies. I would do that in between patrols. And it's just kind of a kind of way to get away from what was going on deployment sometimes. And came back home, got into investment advising. I was an investment advisor at a firm here in Richmond. Kind of tough at 25 to get a bunch of clients after the financial crisis. So I ended up at Georgetown Business, getting a degree. And I always thought it would be finance, but it ended up being startups because I also have a bunch of crazy ideas, and I got a tool, the Business Canvas, to finally vet them all. And that eventually led to RoundlyX.
Wow. Marine Corps, fintech. Moneyman13 sounds very badass. It's almost like you're like a new oceans,
Yeah, who was he? I mean, I don't know where he came from, but that was my screen name. Yeah, pretty nuts.
And then a legend was formed. So tell us. So trading unconventional currencies and Bitcoins and digital currencies. What's the ultimate end game? What's the big vision?
Well, I think it's in a very exciting space, and how lucky is Moneyman13 to be 35 with 20 years of life experience to be positioned right in time for an emerging asset class. Every asset class I love, but I happen to be this age with this experience at this moment as a totally new asset class is being born. So it's very exciting, but everything that is new is volatile. So we all hear the stories about the ups and downs of this new asset classes because it's coming right out of the gate. It's going to be hopping around a lot, and at some point it will mature. But when it matures, RoundlyX will be a very mature company too because we're in early. But you've got a lot of people that are excited. They need responsible tools to even out the volatility of an exciting thing. And that's why we created the Spare Change Roundup tool. It's really a dollar cost averaging strategy that lets you avoid all the emotional components of all this hopping around so that you don't miss the big show, which is the next 10, 20 years.
I love how you put that, because money is a very emotional topic. And a lot of times that clouds our like rational side of things, right?
Right.
So in a way, there's almost kind of a component of you absorbing all that's emotional. And it's definitely also, I think a lot of times when fintech has these exciting technologies, we forget about the human side of things, which is like, how do you do this in a responsible way? So then on the other end, your users are also getting some really good financial intelligence out of it and the financial literacy. So I love this whole component of, letting the tech evolve with the humans. So that is all very high tech, high emotion roller coaster ride. That is AKA entrepreneurship, startup life, right? Who and what is your founder's hotline? Like, do you have a support group? Do you just eat oysters? Like what?
The oyster addiction. So I've got a great relationship with my co-founder, Will Tribble. We actually grew up together and then survived high school and college separately and reconnected. And Will had always been the techie in rural Virginia when dial-up internet first arrived. Will was the first to have it. So we'd all go to Will's house and he'd show us the internet, which is pretty wild. But we had worked on a couple ideas before. We had created a board game, which was cool, and some other ideas, but came together big time for this one. So a great relationship there. We balance each other, so that's great for mental health too, just having a partner in crime. But also, the past couple of years, as part of a different idea, I had taken a horticulture course and before RoundlyX, and gotten into beekeeping. So the beekeeping is actually one of the things that I do that's very grounding. I've got about 20 hives, and every couple of weekends I'll get away from all this crazy tech stuff and I'll just play around in a beehive.
Wow. That's fascinating. So this is a fun fact. I recently had some unexpected bee visitors, and I live on a 24th floor, so it was just very mind-boggling. But it was also during a couple of like unexpectedly warm days sandwiched in some cold days, right? Mm-hmm. So I was just like, are they confused? Do I have too many plants in the house and I'm the one confusing them? It's my fault? Or is my building just on a migration? It's in their migration pattern, right?
Yeah, it could be either one of those. Either depending on what time of year, if it was maybe one of the first warmer days, they might have been swarming. So that's how they naturally grow, turn one hive into two. And those are actually a lot of fun to catch, because if you can catch a swarm, then you can put it in a new hive box for yourself, and you double your business.
That sounds dangerous from the 24th floor.
Oh yeah, don't do, not advisable on that level.
Okay, so beekeeping, oysters, great co-founder. That's amazing, by the way. It's rare, so when you have it good, you hold on to that. What, aside from all these extracurricular activities, which is many for Drew, what do you like most about being a founder and building what you're building right now?
I don't know if you can hear my little dog barking, but maybe working from home sometimes, that's fun. I don't know how he'll deal with the end of COVID. But no, I like to create. I've always been a creator, but but now I can do it more efficiently with the tools that I have from business school and the business canvas. I just kind of always saw the world of what could be. So now I get to do it, and I've learned a lot the past couple years. I feel like I've starting to kind of crack the code on being able to do things bigger, quicker. So I just like creating what's to come.
Nice. Yeah. Wow. This has been just sort of a very mind-opening conversation too. I mean, being on the side of like being the interviewer, it's a whole different vibe, I have to say. And you know what? I think that you're perfectly positioned to be doing what you're doing right now. Sometimes people, in hindsight, they're like, oh, I have no idea how I started doing X, Y, and Z. But then people on the outside would just be like, but do dead. You were kind of made for that, right? And it kind of sounds like you are on a very amazing journey for that. So, well, thank you, Drew, for that amazing breakdown of RoundlyX. This is another episode of Behind the AI. This is Ivy for Founder AI. Definitely come check us out. Invest in great companies created by great founders. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Keep it going.